Hey, now I've got the green light on the microphone, so that's good. I know you can hear me now. And I've got the mic turned up louder than normal. Woo, my hands are a little shaky. Hey, Pepper, it's good to hear your voice on the Facebook. Yeah, and I did totally miss that you were taking the dog out to go potty. So, hey, Roger. Hey, Kevin. Kathy's there, my administrator. Let's see what happened now. Let's see, practicing every day. I'm so glad, Pepper. That's awesome. You know, it's crazy if you come out of this, you know, if this goes on for a month or two. I heard Ohio, I think it was Ohio, might be extending 70 days. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to, I think if you look at, and I don't want to make this channel about this. It'll be very era specific when you watch it 10 years from now. But will be kind of an interesting time capsule, though. But if you look at even the state of Washington, because they did the stay-at-home order probably sooner than anyone, you're seeing a real flattening. The state of Washington, which was number one, the worst. And number one's not something you want to aspire to in this situation, but they were the worst state. They're dropping down fast because they're just not adding that many cases. And then the cures are coming along. And then again, all the projections don't take into consideration a reaction. The projections are always scientific, and that's great. And they're made by doctors and scientists. But what they don't take into consideration is the industriousness of the human spirit and ability to come up with solutions to the problem. And it's interesting because I saw some pictures of the Spanish flu from 1918, and everyone was wearing masks. It's really interesting. So now we're there. We're to that point where they're saying everybody wear a mask. And if you're having trouble getting one, a friend of mine who is an ER doctor in Pasadena, great guy who texts me. This guy is like freaking got to be have the most insane life right now. And he texts me, "How you guys doing?" And he said that you can get masks, not the surgical kind, not the medical kind, but just regular masks that will cut back on your germs getting out on Etsy. So you can go to Etsy, and that's a great thing to do because a lot of times, so many of the people on Etsy are just people that have small businesses, work from home, and they just sell, and so what they're doing is they may sew stuff, but now they're retooling them. They're little, when you're a small business, you can retool super fast. I remember hearing about General Motors, and it would take how long it would take for them to retool a General Motors plant, like for the new Oldsmobile, for the new Cadillacs or whatever. And they'd have to shut the plant down to retool. And then the Japanese, they would literally have, they would have like a 1997 car coming down the assembly line and a 1998 car right behind it. And they would alternate. And initially there'd be a couple 98s, and then pretty soon there would be almost all 98s. And they would retool on the fly. And that was something that the American car companies weren't doing. And now I think they probably do that. But anyway, that's the cool thing about these little businesses. So on Etsy, you can get masks, and they're not expensive. We got a couple. You can get them custom. We got like kind of powder blue ones, and I think we paid $7, and it was a Los Angeles company. They make them here in Los Angeles. Probably just a few people sitting around sewing machines, and they're making a bank because I think they had 13,000 reviews. That's amazing. 10,000. If they sold 10,000, that's almost $100,000 right there. So, hey, Al, welcome. Let's see. Roger's here. Let's see. Bruce, is that Bruce? That's you're Michelle, right? Kevin, you're here. Awesome to see everybody. I went back on all of the previous live streams and wrote in all caps what that live stream was primarily about. So you can see that the first, I think it was the first 12 were, it'll say in all caps, it'll say caged method. And then, so this way you can go back. I didn't go, into too much. That's the only detail I went into. I am also going to probably add tags. Episode 13 to yesterday, that was 17. That's 5 episodes were about modes. We talked about modes, and I really recommend checking that out. Today, we're going to talk about chord theory. Verdi and Frankie. I am going to go back and do some tagging just to make these, videos easier to find, I think. And then, like I said, I put them in the title. So it'll say, like yesterday's episode says, daily lesson number 17. And then I put modes in all caps. And then Tom Strahle and then Pro Guitar Secrets. And I don't know. I think that's the way to do it. I could have put modes first and then daily lesson 17, but it's fine. The cool thing about this is that it allows people to kind of join in later and watch the older videos and kind of do it in order. So I think that's helpful. So this one will say in giant letters, chord theory, in caps, all caps. Exactly. We got. Oh, and here's something else that happened. Episode 16, I was playing the music, the Louis Milan that I posted the PDF of that's 500 years old. I got a copyright claim against it from some antique store. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So that episode can't be monetized until they until the claim is disputed. And usually those take like 30 days. I went ahead and disputed it. I run a risk of doing that. You're only allowed to lose 3 of those before they take your channel down, which is crazy. But I haven't lost one yet. And on the jam track I did, I haven't posted that video yet because I don't want it to be viewed until I can monetize it. That's the point. So normally, like I said, it takes 30 days. It's already been 45 days since I disputed it. And they've even said that because of the COVID-19 that their response is slow. But that one had, and it always cracks me up. This is the second time this has happened. It's a jam track. I'm literally, and I did 2 guitars, so it's left and right, and there's an upright bass sample, and there's brushes on it that are just a drum sample. But I literally recorded it that day, and then I posted the same day, and they say copyright dispute. It's you stole this from a song in the 50s that I've never heard of. It was what Santa drives a dually. Now so there were 2 claims, and now when I looked at the claim, one of them was gone. So I think it's down to 1 claim. So they're working it out. But if I lose 2 of these, I'm not going to be able to dispute them anymore. And if they say there's a copyright infringement. Now, the nice thing about it, though, in the live stream, I could cut that part out. And I did do that with the Bieber thing. A while back, we were talking about a Bieber thing, and one of the Bieber fans sent me a song to listen to. And I listened to it, and it was, like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, that was me. And of course, YouTube caught that and said, you can't do that. But what they allowed me to do was to cut that section it was like a 2-hour video. And it was like literally 1 minute, 30 seconds. So there's a skip in the middle of that video if anyone even watches it. And that allowed me to monetize it. And I could have even done, because it was only a minute or so, I could have done shared monetization, but I was fine cutting that part out. It really didn't matter. It was not relevant. Even the classical thing, I could cut that out if they're going to give me a strike. I really, like I said, I don't want to get 3 strikes because I would hate to have this channel taken down. That's it's not worth it to have, I put a little bit of work in a video, but if I have to lose the video, that's fine. So I think Happy Birthday is now public domain. I think that was settled. I think we're okay with that. So I didn't get any kind of statement on that. I can look real quick. Paul David had an issue with Jamtrack. He wrote himself, and he went through where it was being, I know what you meant, monetized, not demonetized. And apparently the other person had used his jam track and put vocals on it. That's hilarious. So I had that problem too. Oh, let me turn on the light. Sorry. Forgot. Also, ask me about this guitar. Okay, later. This is a 1960s Gibson 175 single pickup, which is a little more rare than the double pickup. There's a great story behind this. There's a great story behind this, and ask me about it later, and I'll tell you the story of this guitar. And so I wrote the original classical guitar pieces, and I've even played some of them here a little bit. And you know, I did this. I wrote them in like 1999 to 2001, something like that, and some really good pieces. So good. I mean, I'm blowing my own horn here, but the head of the classical guitar department at USC had me come in and do some not clinics, but he introduced. You know, I did some judging for some events or an event, and then he introduced me as a composer, which was pretty cool. James Smith, it was such a nice guy, and he kind of inspired me, and so I kept writing songs, and I got to the point where I wrote a bunch of them, and then you know, I would generally write things like I tell you to do, create exercises, but make them musical. Try to, you know, find some piece of a scale that you can't play and try to come up with something that is a musical exercise that you can do that's maybe something that people would want to listen to. Because anytime you see the word etude after a piece, or before, etude number 1, etude number 2, it's study. It means study. And so many pieces that we know as classical music pieces are actually studies, and they were written to learn something by the composer, or to teach something by the composer. Maybe they had students. And I've done that as well. I've written pieces just for students. So I wrote these pieces. I recorded them myself. They're 100% mine. And I posted one. I decided at one point I was going to post it on YouTube because I needed some content. I had no ideas. And I said, I'll just post some original music up there. And I think there's still a couple up there. Let me see if some of them didn't get flagged. And I could also post them without, let's see, playlist. I could also post them without monetizing them. But I got a takedown notice on one of my original pieces, and I'm like, what? And it said this company, and I went, where do I know that company from? Oh, and, you know, I'd forgotten that I should never have done this, but I gave all those classical guitar pieces to a friend of mine who was starting a music library. And he said, hey, you can make some money anytime somebody, you know, pays me to use one of your pieces, I'll give you 50%. But not only, so I agreed to that, and he put himself down as publisher and me as writer, but he put me down as 99% writer. For some reason, he had to put himself down as 1% writer. Yeah, GR, ask me about this later, and I'll tell you the story about how I came to. Oh, yeah, Gretches are great. I love the you know, the two-tone or the sunburst on this is so great. And he had registered them internationally, and that's why I got to Takedown Notice on my own song. It's like, and I even called him. He said, do you want me to unregister it? I do make on some of the songs. I mean, it was like 10 songs. I don't know. Am I touching my face right now? Does that count? I really shouldn't rub my eyes. I want an opinion here. Is rubbing my eyes, touching my, yeah, actually, that's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? Yep, sip. Okay. Not even a judgment call. We all have to take a sip. So it's our drinking game. Every time I touch my face, I'm going to say, every time Tom, I'm going to refer to myself in the third person. Every time Tom touches his face, everybody has to take a drink. Cheers. Mazel tov. I hate water. All right. I know you all think I need to drink more water, but I hate it. So that's the other game is Tom wearing pants? And the answer is yes. You can tell already. See, I need to start more like this. And then Now, if it gets really hot here, I will be wearing shorts, maybe, or my bathing suit, because as soon as I'm done here, I'll jump in the pool. I may do a, hey, where's Andrew? Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. That's good advice whether there's a pandemic or not. So oh, and is Gary here? Gary, I just subscribed to your channel. So if Gary, I have to approve your comment, Pepper, because of the word pants. Hilarious. But there's I just subscribed to Gary's channel. So if you guys want to do that, so I was doing a little research to monetize a YouTube channel. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours in of viewing within a 12-month period. Gary's actually got some tips up there. So, guitar tips. So it could be useful to subscribe. So I was thinking 4,000 hours, that seems like a lot. And it's crazy because when I do these, all of you are watching. If I have 40 people watching if I do a 2-hour one, which yesterday I almost did 2 hours. If I do a 2-hour one and all of you are watching, then that's 80 hours right there. So it can add up faster than I thought. I looked at my analytics and it said in the last 28 days, I had 13,000 hours of viewing. So I could see where in a 12-month period, you could probably get to 4,000 hours. That actually might be harder than getting the 1,000 subscribers. I'm amazed at how many of my views are from non-subscribers. That's what, it's about 90% of my views are from non-subscribers. So that means a lot of you don't have the bell on. So when I post a new video, you get a notification. Somebody asked about the Bebop Scale. You can think of it as a major scale or a Mixolydian scale. Either way, you can. But it's basically from the sixth to the root is chromatic. And I knew that at some point, but I forgot it. And the Bebop Scale is just something you would do anyway. Going like in the G, you would go F sharp G. You wouldn't sit on over a G7. You wouldn't sit on the F sharp, but anytime you have a whole step, like from the 5th to the 6th, you can do that. You can use that middle note as it's called a passing tone. It's called a chromatic passing tone. Okay. You can do that. You can do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5. You can slide you can do the notes into the 1, into the 3, to the 5, to the 7. I mean, that's a common trick. Django Reinhardt would do this one. Like if we're playing G minor, he would do this thing where he would do chromatic neighboring tones, meaning that you pick a note, like in this case G, and you go up a fret to the G and then back down. And if you want, you can go up a whole step instead of up a half step. But it's a great one. And remember, he only had 2 fingers, so he would do this. And that's probably why he came up with it, because it was something easy to do with 2 fingers. So, okay. What did you do, Kathy? Kathy there's a delay for me. Right back. I'll get out and back. Okay. Will's asking me, how long have I been playing? I am going to be 59 this summer, and I got my first guitar on my 9th birthday and have been playing pretty much nonstop ever since. So, I mean, there was a period literally from the age of 13, 14 to the age of 35, I probably played 8 hours a day. I had a routine that I kind of stuck to. And so that was, oh, okay. Good. Yeah, Dudley rides, my pastor at my church rides bike. Man, he'll ride all over the place. It's crazy. Let's see. Yeah, put the bell on if you want. You know, hopefully I won't annoy you. David, what's this? If the bell has to be those 2 lines like it's ringing, or is it just grayed out? I don't know. Click like, yeah. GR, thank you. Lines at each of the bell, all notifications. Love the Gibson, Martin guitars, yep. Let's see. Okay. Hey, yeah, I'm a Strat guy largely. That's mostly what I play. In fact, my main Strat is at the shop right now, which of course I can't get it back because everything's closed, which is kind of ridiculous because it's a one-man shop. I'll have to call him and see, but I don't want to narc on him. Let's see. It's still buffering. Okay. I have nothing uploading. I'm not. Oh, I wonder. Someone said 2G is better than. I'm on 2G, so someone said 2G is better than 5G on my. I've got those two options on my Wi-Fi. Okay. Yes, July 10th is my birthday. No secret. Will, you are probably the youngest here. It's funny, my analytics, though, I'm very impressed that I've got viewers all across the board. Of course, the biggest chunk is my age group, probably 55 to 65. And that is probably 20%, 25% of my viewers. And it goes down a little bit in the group before and down a little bit, but not much. It's really actually pretty even across everything. And I'm amazed at that. I really appreciate it. Now, okay, sorry. So do a 1-3-7 chord progression. 1-3-7. So that would be like, let's see. So it'd be like G major 7, B minor 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. That would be. We're going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about that. So now get your paper and pencils out. I'm going to give you a second. Don't forget to ask me about this guitar later. And we are going, I think, we're not going to have to do a keyboard. If you want, you can draw a keyboard at the top. I'm so glad this pen doesn't bleed through the paper because it's pretty dark. Okay, so what we did yesterday was, so 2 days ago we learned all the relative modes in C in open position. So for the acoustic guitarist beginner, if you understand these diagrams, but basically this is the low C, and then it is open D, E, F, open G, A, open B, and then C. So here's C Ionian, D Dorian, E Phrygian. So you go back, this is lesson 18, is that right? 18? So if you go back to 16, you can get the video where we did this, okay? And you can start at the beginning and just follow along, and it's great. And I try to make you guys do the work too. Chopping off my head here. And then the next day we did what I call parallel scales. All of these scales start in C and end on C. And we used the formulas to create 7 scales, and I gave you a bonus one over here, but we ended up with a C major scale, a C Dorian scale, a C Phrygian scale, a C Lydian scale, a C Mixolydian scale, a C minor scale, a C Locrian scale, and then this was a C harmonic minor scale, where we took the B flat and raised it up to B natural to create a harmonic minor sound. That was our bonus, for all the straight A students. They can work on that one. Now, wow, we're getting up there with are there a bunch of RJ subscribers here? Because my view count's getting up there. 48. That's the highest I've seen it. That's awesome. Okay. So, and this is yesterday's lesson. So that would be lesson 17. And this is where I try to take the modes lesson and apply it to guitar. And I haven't yet really figured out how I'm going to apply this next lesson to guitar, what we're going to do. But I will figure that out. We won't be doing that today necessarily. We're mostly going to be writing stuff. Okay, we're going to do this together. And we're going to have to memorize a couple things, but it won't be too bad. And I think we're going to do something right now where there's going to be a light bulb going off. Okay, I think for a lot of you, there's going to be a big light bulb going off here in a second. So what I want you to do is I want you to write here at the top, and say a top line, maybe just below, leave space. We're going to write something above it. The C major scale, 2 octaves of it, meaning C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So we have 2 full octaves of C major, okay? Thanks, Diane. Yeah, Miguel, that'll help. And I'll try to do some, hey, are comments searchable? Or do you know if comments are searchable, you guys could add comments and that would make it, I don't think comments are searchable. In other words, if you put in the word caged, and it's in the comment section, if the video would show up if it was nowhere else in the thing. Might not be that probably wouldn't be a good idea because I think comment sections can get kind of sideways. Okay, so you see what we did here? We wrote 2 octaves of a C scale. My horrible penmanship. I should have been a doctor. Somebody said my G's look like A's, small case A's, and I try. It's awful. Yeah. Oh, and then today I did that. I added chord theory, and I'll do it all caps. Someone said, I watch a lot of those videos about YouTube videos. Someone said, put all caps in there. And then other people, the YouTube people were saying that doesn't really help. It doesn't really help at all. The other thing I could do, it would just take some time, but I could also do the image, a JPEG that I upload that has the title in it, a screenshot with but yeah, the subject will help because we will be on this subject for, today we're going to do triad theory. And then tomorrow we're going to add to that and go to sevenths. We'll see how long this takes. And then, we'll talk a little bit about the numbering system. Dang it. For all you newbies, because there's some out there, it's a drinking game. Every time I touch my face, you have to take a drink. All right. Now, here's where you might have an aha moment. Above the 2 octave C scale. Okay. Above now, Will, you're just drinking water, right? Or Diet Coke, right? You said you were 19. So I want to make sure I'm not encouraging any illegal behavior here. It's the law here. Yeah, it's the law. But the law has to be taken into consideration other laws. Okay. So above the 2 octave scale, I want you to write over each letter a number. Go 1 through 17. So it'll be C would be 1, D would be 2, E is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait, what did I do? I say 17. Am I off? What did I do? Okay, no, that's right. My brain's dead. It's 15, not 17. Sorry. If you had 17, you did something wrong. I did something wrong in my brain and got 17, but on paper, I got it right. So that's what it should look like. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Yeah. No, words are better than my face. Words. Yeah. This is, in fact, I can do this. So you can do a screen cap and not have to crop my face out. Okay. So, all right. Here's the thing. You can see in this, without going into any explanation, you can see where maybe we could come up with 7th chords, 9th chords, 11th chords, and 13th chords. You might be able to understand, without too much explanation, what a 6th chord is, or a 2 chord. Hey, Chris. All right. Now we're gonna get there, but not today. Okay, we're gonna do basic theory. Now, okay, I may need to learn something new. We could do it either way, but remember you taught me about what a caret was? So where are the half steps in this scale? Where are the half steps? 1 fret apart. Yep, Pepper, you're right. Anybody else? Yeah, 6-chord could be a version of a minor. Yeah, but we can derive a 6-chord without having to think about the between the third and fourth. Yeah, E, F, B, C. Yep. Yeah, not as Verdi. I think yours got auto corrected. Yep, Frankie, you're right. Between okay, so we can put our carets there, or if you want to do the opposite, what's the one below? Okay, so E, F, B, C, E, F, B, C. Oh, dang it! Gosh, guys, I'm sorry. The teacher became the student. Yeah, you can think of it that way too, Roger. Totally can think of it that way. But you're fine just thinking 3, 4, 7, 8. It's I don't want it to get too far, but yes, you guys are totally right. Okay. Now, oh, Gary, I subscribe to your channel. Everybody check out Gary's channel. He's doing little lessons in there too. He's got some good information. Okay. So by writing those half steps, okay, by notating those half steps, we can assume that everything else is a whole step. All right. We can assume all the others, C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, which is true. These are all whole steps. C, D, D, E, those are all whole steps. B, C, that's a half step. E, F is a half step. Okay. So we can go there. We know that now. Okay. Because I'm going to ask you you're going to be helping me here. We're going to create some triads and you're going to do the work and I'm doing check your work and then we'll add it as we go. Okay. Okay. So I need you to learn. Okay, this is where we're going to have to memorize something. Okay, we're going to be talking about thirds. When we're talking about whole steps and half steps are what's called a second. A second. Okay, C to D, 1, 2. This interval is a second. D to E, also a second. If D is the 1, then E is the 2. 1, 2. Okay. E to F, that's a second, and that's a close second. Those are tight. It's going to sound dissonant. So if I were to play E to F at the same time, it would sound like this. Okay. I could harmonize the scale using all seconds. Okay. So we're going to learn about thirds right now. Thirds, C to E is a third. All right. C to E is a third. So there are going to be two kinds of thirds that we're going to talk. They're basically just two thirds. There's two kinds of thirds. There's a major third and there's a minor third. Major and minor third. Capital M, small case m, 3. All right. Everybody tracking with me so far? Yeah. A whole step is a whole step is a major second and a half step is a minor second. Yes, exactly. Lance, 100%. Sorry, I meant to add that to my sentence and I forgot. Okay, so we're going to talk about, so we've been learning about seconds. When we created all those modes and all those scales, we were using whole steps and half steps. We could have also, I could have put capital M and small m for major second and minor second. We could have done it that way. We're going to do that now with the thirds. Okay, so we've got two different kinds of thirds, a major third and a minor third. Okay. So a major third is equal to 2 whole steps. Okay. A minor third is equal to either a whole step and a half step or a half step and a whole step. It doesn't matter which order it comes. It's still a minor third. All right. So you don't have to, you'll know this. Exactly, David. And that's where we're going with this. So you don't have to 100% understand this right now because we're gonna do it so many times that by the end of this lesson, you should understand the difference between a major third and a minor third. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Yes, a major third is 2 whole steps. Exactly. And you're going to see them all over the place. And my hair is a mess. Look at that hair. It's getting so long. The wall is, the wall is beckoning me from the drawer in the bathroom. I got to get that razor out. Just go crazy on my head. You might next time you see me, I might have no hair and just shave it off. No, I don't want to do that. I used to have long hair. There's pictures of me with really long hair. Okay. If I could find some really old videos of me, that would be really fun. I should do some reaction videos. RJ did that, and I loved him. RJ, he says my name wrong, so I'm going to say his name wrong. Rankio. He did this one video where he's looking at himself like playing Hendrix stuff when he was a kid. It's like so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Now here's what we're going to do. Okay. Now that you know the difference between a major third and a minor third, we're going to go down, give yourself a couple spaces, and we're going to write one octave C to C one time of a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Vertically like that. Everybody got your pencil and paper out, I hope. Yeah, I know. And we have friends that cut hair. I could go over to their house, but I'm really trying to stick to this, like not leaving the house if I don't have to. Okay. Yeah, no barbershops are open, nothing. So, okay, so you got that. All right, now here's what we're going to do. Triads, in fact, chords generally are built on thirds, stacked thirds. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a third from C. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to write C again after C. We're going to do that. Okay. So go up a third from C. So you count C and go 1, 2, 3. And what is a third up from C? Thanks. Good, Lance. And if you want to rewrite this later, what you can do is do other keys with this. When we're done with this, you could do every key, and that would be great. So what is the third? 1, 2, 3. What letter is that? Now there's a lag here, I think. So we count up 3 from C. Exactly, Lance. Nope, count C when you do it. 1, 2, 3. Yep, so it's E, okay? Right? Okay. Now count up 3 from E. And what's the next third up from E? Yeah, you start at C. Everybody makes that mistake. You go 1, 2, 3, and you get F. No, you got to start on that. So do the same thing on E. Count E. 1, 2, 3, and you get G. Okay, boom. All right. Now we're going to have another piece of information to memorize. Actually, 4 pieces of information, but only 3 of them are going to show up. But I'll give you a 4th one as a bonus. You'll have more bonus. But it's just going to be one of those things, well, what about this? And I'm going to have to say, well, this is that. Okay. So the answer is G. Again, you count the one you're starting on. 3. So it's be 1, 2, 3 from E is G. Okay. So using our knowledge of major thirds and minor thirds, C to E, is it 2 whole steps? Or is it a step, half step, and a whole step? Or, is it a major third or is it a minor third? So C to E, is that 2 whole steps? Or is there a half step in there? Now this is going kind of slow, but we'll go faster in a second. That's right. It's a major third. A whole hole. That's exactly right. 2 holes. Okay. So we're going to write here, we're going to write a capital M. Very good. Okay. Now E to G. E to G. Is there a half step in there? Is that a major third or a whole? Is that a major third or a minor third? E to G. And if you see a caret, it's a minor third. Very good. David, you got it right. Gary, you're probably answering the first question. So we're moved on to E to G. Is that, yep, minor third. Okay. So now we're at a small case M. Remember we talked about formulas? Remember whole, half, whole, half was the formula for a major scale. So we're going to talk about formulas again because we're going to come up with a formula for a major triad, a minor triad, a diminished triad, and an augmented triad. And it's very simple. It's a very binary thing. You might have trouble memorizing it just without context. But if you went and did a couple other keys, like, we're guitar players, so you could do the key of G, the key of D, the key of A, and the key of E if you wanted to, and write out the, like the A scale up here, and then do this all again in the key of A, just to hammer it home. And then you'll start seeing it even better, okay? Yep, it's a minor third because of the half step. Exactly, Lance. Yep. And we're not going to talk about the fifth. We don't need to talk about that. Because I don't want to confuse. Perfect intervals are complex. They're just weird. So we're not going to talk about that. Okay. So not yet. Maybe later though. But David, I know you understand that, but we're not going to go there yet. So minor, if the triad is minor major, or I'm sorry, major minor, okay, that is a major triad. All right. So let me play it because you'll hear it. We're not really playing to the guitar right now, but basically if you play the bottom three notes of a C chord, that's C, E, G. That's major, that's happy. Those are all C major triads. On the piano, it would just be three white keys. Very racist. Okay, so let's move on to the next chord. You do not need a fifth to make it a chord. Nope, you do not need a fifth. A third is, in fact, right now I'm really digging thirds. I know a lot of rock players think root fifth. But I really like thirds. So much so, I'll even add an octave. Okay, so you do not need a fifth to make a chord. The definition of a chord technically is two or more notes. That's it. Two notes. Could be octave. Technically, two C's, an octave apart, could be considered. Heck, I think I could make the argument that a unison, which would be two B's, like if you're tuning, that's technically a chord. It's two notes. It would be a perfect unison, which again we're talking about. So, however, Lance or Verdi, don't be disheartened. I don't want to confuse people, but this is a fifth here. The outside is a fifth. And again, we're not going to go here. I say this all the time. There's no test at the end of the week. So you don't have to really know this part, but East End, David, you're right. That's a perfect fifth, but I don't want to talk about perfect fifths. I only want to talk about thirds at this point, because just to give you a preview of what's coming, if you have C, E, G, that's a triad. If you add the B, go up another third, that's a seventh chord. If you go up another third, that's a ninth chord. If you go up another third, that's an 11th chord. If you go up another third, it's a 13th chord. So if you had C, E, G, B, D, F, and A, technically that would be like a full crazy 13th, a major 13th chord, C major 13th, okay? So just seeing these numbers can help you kind of go, oh, when it says C ninth, it has something to do with that. You don't necessarily means you understand anything yet, but at least now you know where the origin is. Okay, the origin is in looking at two octaves of a scale. Okay, we're going to get into that. Yeah, and the 13th chord has 7 notes, and we only have 6 strings, so you got to start eliminating, and that's lessons down the road, So we'll talk about that later. Okay, so now we got to do the D chord. So we have, I'm sorry. We have one more piece of information to add here. So we've got the scale. We have the notes in the triad, okay? The analysis of the triad. And then we're just going to write the word major. Okay? So CEG is a major triad. Okay, and you could even write 1 here if you want to write capital Roman numeral 1, or you could write it here. We could do that over here. That actually makes more sense. Because remember, we talked about if it's major, we use a capital. And that goes way back. That goes way back to notation like for hymnals and things like that. Capital Roman numerals would be major chords, and the small case Roman numerals would be minor chords. Okay, and they don't use that in Nashville. They actually use literal numbers. They would put 2 with a little m after it. Exactly. You also eliminate. You can eliminate the root in a 13th chord too if you have a bass player. So that saves you a lot. Yeah, and actually in a 13th chord, I've never played a 13th chord with an 11th in it. It's not what people expect to hear from a 13th chord. But we're getting way way ahead here. Let's go to the next chord, okay? Because we're going to find something different's going to happen, okay? So we're going to start on D. So we can write a D here. You like my dry erase board? This is so lame. Why are any of you watching this? I don't understand. This is like the lamest. No, actually, this is really, really close to what a lesson with me would be like. Me laughing most of the time saying I'm lame. Okay, so D, we write a D there. We need to go up a third. So what's a third up from D? D, so go 1, 2, 3 from D, but start on D when you count up 3. What is that? Yes, Mr. Pesky, you're new. Thank you. David, you're right. F is indeed right. Yes, Michelle. See, I know everybody's real name. Yeah, right? I can't erase. All right. So we have an F. All right. Okay. Do you see where we're going with this? What's the next note I want after F? A D triad. The second triad in the key of C. Yeah, Lance, you're ahead of me here. We're going to go ahead and write out the full triad. Let's do that first. So what's after F? Yep, David, you're right. Frankie, right. Kevin, Diane, Pesky, Mr. Pesky. Love your name. Roger, yes, you are right. Okay, so there's our triad. Now what do we have? Okay, so D to F, is that a major third or a minor third? This is making sense, right? Is D to F a major third or is it a minor third? You're laughing too hard to think. My real name is Bruce. Oh, I thought it was Michelle. Sorry. Your real name is Bruce. Yes. So now make a small m. All right. Small m. And F to A, is that minor? Is that a minor also, or is that a major interval? F to A. You guys are getting this. This is awesome. It's going to go faster now. So F to A. Yep, because E to F is a half step. Exactly, Dennis. Yep, major third. Exactly right. So we have the opposite. Now, David brought it up. But let's ascribe a number to this. If this is 2 whole steps, we could say it's 4 half steps. So we could say this is 4, and this is a whole step and a half step. We could say this is 3. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. And 3 plus 4 equals 7. So this is still on the outside here. D to A is still a perfect fifth. I don't want to confuse things though. I say that and then I confuse things. But we have a new formula now though, right? We have minor, major. That equals a minor triad. Okay? So I'm asking you to memorize some stuff here. I'm asking you to memorize the definition of a major third and the definition of a minor third. And then I'm asking you to memorize this. Now, when I mentioned binary before, let's say M is 1 and capital M is 1 and little m is 0. We have 1, 0, we have 0, 1. We have 2 other options. Okay, and we're going to hit on one of those. It's going to occur naturally, but the fourth option does not occur naturally in a major or a diatonic scale. That's awesome. Well, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you're understanding because this applies to any instrument. This applies to flute, it applies to piano, applies to bass, not drums. Not drums. But some of the best piano players I knew in college were drummers because percussionists everybody had to have a second. So pretty much everybody's second instrument was piano. So you always had to take piano in music school. But percussionists, always chose piano. Some people could do it could be guitar and oboe if they wanted, or flute and guitar or something like that. But percussionists almost always chose piano, and they always were really good. Kazoo, exactly. That could be your backup. Okay, so this is a minor triad. So the 2 chord is minor, and we can do this. And this is true of every major key, no matter what key you're in. And we're talking major key here, okay? Major diatonic or Ionian scale, right? We're in that key. Every major key, the 1 chord is going to be major, the 2 chord is going to be minor. It's true of everybody, okay? All right. Now we got E. So write an E. Go up a third from E, and what do we have? That's true, Verdi. You can actually start to pound this stuff out on the piano pretty easy. Yep. G is correct. Go up another third. What's the next third in this situation? Yep. Basically, that's true, Mr. Pesky. You could say that, but you could also say that about the difference between a fourth and a fifth. So we're actually the definition I came up with here. If you look at it, the major third was 2 whole steps, and a minor third was either a whole step and a half step or a half step and a whole step. Yep. So B is correct. So go ahead and give me both of the intervals. So tell me, is this minor major or major minor? Oh, sorry. Is that better, Kathy? Chris, you're right. Bruce, it's small case M and then large case M. Yep, minor major, exactly. So knowing what you know, what kind of triad is that? If it's a minor third, then a major third, what kind of triad is that? Very good. Okay, so that's going to be another minor triad. Okay, so the 3 chord is a minor chord, which makes sense. If you're playing in the key of C, you could very well have an E minor chord. I forgot. There was one more column I could have put. I don't know if you need it or not. If you want to try to squeeze it in here, it would be C, D minor, E minor. For lead, for chord, for your understanding on the fretboard. So if you play a D minor chord, that's what this is. D minor chord. Okay. I think you're all getting this. All right. And we're about to get to the 4 chord. So we're going to start on F. What are the next 2 letters in the 4 chord? What are the next 2 notes in a 4 chord? If we have F, I'm sorry, we need to go up 2 or 3. Yeah, A and C. That's right, Frankie. A and C. It should all be making sense, I think. Yep. So Dennis, what we did was we started on F. We count 3 up. 1, 2, 3, and we get A. You start on A, count that one. 1, 2, 3, and you get C. Now we're going to analyze, is F to A a whole step, or a major third or a minor third? Well, there are no half steps in here. These are called carets. I learned that. There are no carets in there. So this is 2 whole steps, which means this first interval, F to A, is a major third. And then A to C, 1, 2, 3, that's our next third, does have a half step in it. So you've got a whole step from A to B, but B to C is a half step. So that's a minor third. And then if we look down here, if it's major minor, it's a major triad. So I'm trying to write horrible here. So we can use a capital Roman numeral and just write the letter F for the name of the chord. So far what we have, just so you know, and I better not sing because we might get in trouble, right? We have C major, D minor, E minor, and F major. Okay? This is not a Les Paul. This is a 170 Gibson 175 from the 60s 175. And I'll tell the story about this at the end of the lesson. I know, right? Yeah. So Bill Withers passed away. Was it yesterday? So sad. So great. So many great songs. Oh, what a great artist. I had a friend who played drums for him. Really, really great artist. No worries, Pepper. Okay. So now we're going to do the next chord, which is G. We're going to start on G. What are the next two notes? Go up a third from G. So we go to G here, count G, 1, 2, 3. We get B. And then, that's right. Dan, perfect. Dan, you were an A+ student throughout school, right? And Pepper, what are you studying? You said you have to study. What are you studying? You got tests at the end of the month? B, D is correct. Nope, sorry. No D sharp. You don't have a D sharp in the key. And Kathy, you meant D. I know you meant D. Yep, B to D, because B, we need a third up from B. So that would be, C would be a second. 1, 2. We need 1, 2, 3. Again, when we count a third up, we start with a note. So in this case, B, and we count up 3. Start on the note. 1, 2, 3. So B, C, D, and you get the third. Yep. So again, yeah, who said that? Lance, exactly right. Major third, minor third. Therefore, what kind of triad is that? D something. I'm a double major psychology. Oh my gosh. So you're using me as a case study, aren't you? It's just like, no, man. So, and sociology. Dang, that is a lot of work. Yep, exactly. It's a major triad. So we can go with a capital Roman numeral. Okay. Now here you can see the term when they talk about a 1, 4, 5 progression. Oops. 1, 4, 5 progression. They're talking about there's 3 major chords. Okay, spoiler alert. Those are the only 3 major chords we're going to have in a major key. The 1 and 4 and 5. The 6 and the 7 are not going to be major. I'm telling you that now. And so that's why you have so many songs that are 1, 4, 5, because it's all the happy chords. But which is funny because the blues are built on basically, I mean, you can do minor blues too, but blues is generally based on the 3 happy chords in a key. But I find that to be true. Like the blues can be obviously sad, and yet they're on top of minor keys. And the thing about gypsy jazz, it's often all minor keys, but the melodies are so happy. It's kind of the opposite. They're kind of juxtaposing happy over sad, and blues is kind of sad over happy, and it creates kind of a cognitive dissonance within the music and the lyrics and the melodies and everything. So, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, dang. Sorry, Pepper. But glad you're able to. It's awesome because you can, so much right now with studying at home, you can get a degree from home, which I never finished my schooling. I quit after 1 year. I went to Butler University. I wore this shirt yesterday, didn't I? Dang it. I have one sitting over there I was going to change into, and I just got lazy and just shoot. Okay, David, no worries. Yeah, I just school one year, and I was so busy working, I couldn't keep my grades up, and I was working, teaching lessons and playing in a band that was playing a lot, and I was, making money. It wasn't like it wasn't an original band, it was a cover band. So I was kind of like, well, why am I going to music school? I'm already doing, and I really wanted to move to LA. So I spent the next 3 years that would have been my college years working my butt off and saving money, not spending a dime, living at home. my stepdad gave me a suitcase for my 21st birthday. And I didn't take the hint. I was like, oh, thanks for the new suitcase. I need to make a shirt schedule. I totally need to. But I don't take hints anyway. You guys know that by now. All right. So let's build the A chord. So we're going to start on A. What are the 3 notes we're going to need for the A triad? Oh, was it red shirt yesterday? Oh, right. I wore the USC shirt. Oh, I changed that one. What shirt am I wearing? I don't even know what's under there. All right. ACE, Frankie, boom. RJ has buttons he hits that makes things happen on the screen. I don't know how to do any of that. I should probably learn how to do that. Like I got emojis here. What's that emoji? I can't see. I don't know what these emojis do. See, that one's, I never even noticed the emojis there. I touched my face. You guys didn't see. I didn't see anyone say sip. I totally touched my face. You guys weren't paying attention. I'm really disappointed in you all. So we have a drinking game if you're just tuning in. Every time I touch my face, every time Tom touches his face or refers to himself in the third person, you have to take a drink. Okay? So if I refer to myself in the third person, or if I touch my face, we have to take a drink. And that's water. RJ, I noticed, had like these little boom, thank you kind of explosions on his screen when somebody gave him money or something. I was like, dang, I need something like that. Okay, so ACE is right. Okay, and then is that what are the 2/3 we have there? A to C and C to E. Did anybody already say that? You guys all get, I see ACE, right? Yep, good. I'm thirsty. Oh boy, sip. Kathy's a little excited about sipping. So I know she's probably got a glass of wine. Exactly right. Minor, major. And Dennis, you're working ahead on me here. You're right. Minor, major. So what kind of triad is, what kind of triad is that? Very good, Lance. Boom. Lance, did you understand this before? Or is this all new information for you? No, it's all right. Dennis, it's all right. You can work ahead. You didn't know. You thought I was referring down to here and we were going this way on the sheet. So it is indeed a minor third or minor triad. So the 6th chord is A minor. And just so you know, in fact, just so you can know all this, the minor sub for C, and we're going to have C down here, is A minor. The minor sub for G is E minor. The minor sub for F is D minor, okay? Like I said, you just go down 2 chords and you get the minor sub. The major sub for D minor is F. The major sub for E minor is G. Sorry, this is not close enough here. Sorry. So when you talk about minor subs and everything like that, hey, Charles. Well, Charles, you can go back. I actually put in the titles what I've been talking about. I did, I think, 12 lessons on the caged method where we learned about the caged method, and we learned a pentatonic shape for each caged shape, and we learned a diatonic shape for each. Yep, Verdi, we're getting there for each caged shape. So that was the first 12 days, and the last 5 days I did mode. We talked about modes. Okay, so the next one, Dennis was already ahead here, and it's B and up a third. Now you understand now why we wrote 2 octaves, okay? Because the reason I did that, well, for one thing, to show you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 9, 11, 12, all that stuff, but also so you won't have to like try to count like, okay, so if we're here, we got to go, so you go B, skip C, go to D. There's a third, B, D, and F. Okay, now analyze that for me. What do we have? B, D, F. Oh, good. Okay, good, Charles. Yeah, and turn on your bell. You're going to get annoyed every day at 11 o'clock, but it'll help you remember to jump on. And then I haven't been posted. I posted a video last week, but I try not to post more than 1 or 2 a week. So you shouldn't get bugged by that bell. Yeah, we're not there yet, Verdi, but we'll get there. BDF is right. It's minor, minor. Exactly. Yeah, Keith, it's minor, minor. B to D has a half step in it. It has that little B to D. You see the BC is a half step. So this is a minor third. And then D to E or D to F has the E to F in it, which is also a half step. So that's a minor third. See that? So this minor third is a half step and a whole step, and this minor third is a whole step and a half step. So it's got both of the variations in it. But that's not particularly relevant, right? Two small case M's. And so which is it? Oh, wait a minute. We don't have that here. I told you this was coming, and Verdi knew it all along. Verdi fortunately didn't spoil it for us. So we have minor, minor. Minor, minor equals a diminished chord. Oh, gosh. Diminished triad. It's hard to write. There we go. Minor, minor is a diminished triad. So we'll write, you can just write DIM here. And that would be a Roman numeral 7, small case, with a little degree sign, like a little circle at the top. That notates diminished. Like, you know, how many degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. And then the same thing here, you write B diminished. B with a little circle. Okay. We don't need to write the bottom one out, the C one. It's the same as the top. If you want to, you can, but we don't need to do that. Okay. So diminished triad would sound like this. Okay, that's so we have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished. I mean, if you want to, as a kind of a bonus study, and I'm going to try to figure out a way we can talk about this. Chord theory and knowing your fretboard will come together. So like we've talked about learning the fretboard, and you know, maybe I'll do a lesson where we do that, where I just grill the crud out of you guys until you're crying. What was it? I love this. It was an Instagram post that somebody posted, and I sent it to my kids. I thought it was pretty funny. It was, we were all missing restaurants. So I just beat my daughter at tic-tac-toe until she cried, threw a handful of broken crayons under the table, and lit $80 on fire because they were missing restaurants. I thought that was pretty funny. So it's not half diminished. No, it's just diminished. Half diminished, we have to have a seventh. So there are two. We're gonna get there. In fact, we may. I think. See, I could go several ways on this. I think what I want to do is redo this again tomorrow. The same. Yeah. I don't know, you guys. I think you got this. I think you understand. This is triad theory. So we're done. Triads, we're done. Now you could do this with all the modes. I'm not going to do that. But you could go, okay, what are the triads in the D mode, D Dorian? Basically, it would be the same. This would be the 1 chord, and this would be the 2 chord, 3 chord. So it would be D minor, E minor, F. It would be the same thing, except for in D Dorian, the 3 chord and the 4 chord are major, and the 7 chord. So I don't really want to muddy the waters here on this. So we basically learned this. What we're going to do next week, or not next week, tomorrow, is we're going to add a 7th to the mix. Okay. So then we're going to learn 7th chords. Then that's where we'll hear about the half diminished potentially. Okay. In fact, we will hear about the half diminished because that occurs naturally in a major scale. A full diminished does not. And so we'll talk about that. Just to give you, like, what we're going to do is we're going to go up another third. Just to give you like a spoiler alert. Okay. We're going to go up another third, and that's how we're going to get our 7s. And if you go up another third, you'll get your 9ths. And if you go up another third, you get your 11ths. It's super cool once you realize it's like, wait, really? So, and there's different rules for 2 chords and 4 chords and 6 chords. And I'll talk about that because we're going to get into symbology, the symbols, chord symbols. I'll talk about those more. And we're also going to learn about slash chords. I'll talk about that. I've talked about that in the past. I've done video on slash chords in the past. Yeah, A major 7. That's the thing. We're going to get 7th chords. Nope. A, C, E, G is not a. That's what we're going to learn. We're going to learn. So what we're going to do is we already know this. So we're just going to keep this information for tomorrow. Okay. We're going to basically redo all this, but we're going to go one further. So if you want to think about this too, is we can think, I didn't write this up here, but if you want to, you could write root 3 and 5 above this. So I could put a little line under them so we get some separation here. It's starting to get a little messy. You know, you're probably doing it with a much smaller pen or a pencil, which makes more sense. Okay. But this is everything we did today. So we started out, hold on, let me put this down and then, yeah, who was, so G is major, A is major, B is major. Wait, nope. Pepper, I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, how do I know it's diminished? Well, because it has 2 minor thirds. If it's a minor third on top of a minor third, it's a diminished chord. AC, let's see. Again, we're going to get to 3 chord is always minor. So the 1 chord is, what did Verdi say that sevens are love? So the 1 chord is going to be always major in a major key, no matter what. So if you did this in the key of G, all of this part here and here and here would all be identical. None of that's going to change no matter what we change here, as long as we're still in a major key coming down. Okay. So that might be some homework you could do, is do this in the key of G, for example. But what we did was we wrote 2 octave C scale across here at the top of the page. We wrote the numbers 1 through 15 on top of each letter, and these are called carets. The little carets are over the half step. So these intervals, the E to F is a half step. We also know that now we know it's a minor second. And then if it doesn't have a caret, it's automatically a whole step. Okay. And then what we did was we learned about a major third, which is 2 whole steps. So C to E is a major third because it's a whole step and a whole step. And then we learned about minor thirds. If it's a whole step and a half step, or a half step and a whole step, then it's a minor third. So for example, E to G is a minor third because there's a half step in it. Or if we went C to F, that's also a minor third because there's a half step in it. Okay. Exactly. Constructing chords is just stacking thirds, major, minor. Boom. That's exactly right. So if we keep stacking thirds, we'll keep getting to the next chord. Right now, we're just talking about triads, 1, 3, 5. But if we add the 7, then that's the 7th chord. If we add the 9th, it's a 9th chord. If we add the 11th, it's an 11th chord. If we go all the way to the 13th, it's a 13th chord. That's how that's why I had you write all that. And that's the aha moment right there. For chord symbols, like if you see, like C major 13 sharp 11, you might actually be able to figure that out now. But we're going to get there, although I don't know that we're going to get to C major 13 sharp 11. Yep, that's right. Yeah, I'm glad, Dennis. I was trying to I love how you guys all make it clearer than I do. It's clear as mud when I say it. Okay, time for the Gibson. You're right. We're going to talk about the Gibson. Yes, David, you can replace the 9th with the 2nd because it's the same note. However, the name is going to be different. Okay, so a C2 chord is different than a C9 chord. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to get to that. Not tomorrow, but tomorrow we're gonna get to 7th chords. And then the other thing is, the hard thing is about applying to the guitar. But what I try to do is, knowing all your knowing your fretboard means that like I can find a G chord anywhere on my fretboard. Let's see. I can find a chord anywhere that I'm playing if I want. And it's still a G chord if the G is not in the bass. So if I put a B in the bass, like this is G, triad. If I put a B in the bass, it's still G, but we would call it G over B. Okay, I'm giving you the slash lesson now. If the 5th is in the bass, okay, so of the G chord, the G is the root, the B is the third, and the D is the fifth. Okay. So when I say the fifth of the chord, that would be D. If you put the D in the bass, it would be G/D. Okay. Some people get this confused. So that would be like D, like a G chord with a D in the bass. So I'm playing a D string open. So like that would be G over D. So XX0003. That's G over D. That's one way to play G over D. Probably the simplest way to play G over D. Sorry. Capital G over capital D. Now, some people think, oh, the G is in the bass note. No, you put the chord first, the bass is the second note. Okay. You don't have to have a chord tone in the bass. So like the chord tones in the G triad were G, B, D. I could put a C in the bass of a G chord, and that would sound like this. Now that technically I might call that something else, but I might not. So if I played a G bar chord and just put the C in the bass and just went from there, so that would look like this for those following at home. That could be, you could call this G over C, which would be kind of the easiest thing to call it, or you could call it G. I use a triangle for major, but G major ninth. Okay, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. But that's the now. So I'm going to tell the story about this guitar. I have to preface this though. If you're offended by religious talk at all, go ahead and tune out. And the numbers drop in half because the story of this guitar is kind of the story of my faith, which is interesting. And the number just went up, so that's actually good. Okay, so I started playing guitar when I was 9. My first guitar was I think a 3/4 classical guitar. So my first guitar was a kind of a nylon string guitar. My next guitar was a K12 string that I've talked about that almost made me quit playing guitar. And I think I got that when I was 11. And I got that because, and I paid for it. I'm not sure. I don't think I had I think it was $100. I don't think I had $100. I think my parents helped me with it. Yeah, Diane, it's up. It's really good. But that 12 string was such a crappy guitar that it really made me almost quit guitar because it was so hard to play. And then my next guitar at age 13, my parents bought me for my 13th birthday. I should have played that one today, but maybe I'll bring that one out. I have it still. And I mean, I almost wish I bought the other guitar. There were 2 guitars available at the store, and I think at the store I was taking lessons at, there were many guitars there, but there were 2 that I liked. One was an Ibanez 175 copy, 2 pickup model, blonde, and it's what was called at the time, not at the time, a couple of years later, it was called a lawsuit model. Gibson sued Ibanez over their designs because they were so close to they were actually pretty darn close. Although, mine is plyboard. You can see that it's not solid wood on top and things like that. So it wasn't that close. And so Gibson sued and they won, but the only thing they won was that the only thing that was copyrightable was basically the headstock. Okay. So because Ibanez, if you look at like my Ibanez, I'll have it out tomorrow. I'll take it out tomorrow. If you look at my Ibanez, the headstock, even kind of the script, everything about it looks like a Gibson. So that was the concession that all the Gibson and Fender got from the courts. And so that was my first guitar at 13. And by then, when I got that guitar, it was I was into jazz. I mean, because I go, oh, who plays this kind of guitar? Nobody saw me. Did I touch my face? Somebody just tuned in. They're like, why is Tom asking me if he touched my face? Because we have a drinking game. If I touch my face or refer to myself in the third person, we have to take a drink. Cheers. I still hate water. Hair does not count. I don't believe hair counts, but I think I touched my face earlier. So I just think you missed it. No, I think it was further than that. But you guys, I get it. You're just, so now when I was 13, I desperately wanted to be popular. And, junior high, you're trying everything to be in the in crowd. I mean, I literally remember like going into the student lobby and there would be a group of kids, the popular kids in a circle talking, and I'd be trying to get in the circle. And literally, I was a little short guy too. And literally was just like, like jumping, trying to see, and it's like, please include me. And I so wasn't, it was just like, and in Indiana where I grew up, if you played basketball, you were automatically popular. Well, because I was like a little short, 5, I don't know how tall I was in junior high, but I grew. Once I got to college, I grew. I was like 5'6" when I graduated high school. I'm like 6 feet tall now. It was like maddening. But when I squirrel, when I was trying to be popular in junior high, this one kid, Stan Walker, who was on the basketball team, befriended me, and he played a little guitar, and he befriended me, and I was like, well, that's weird. That's cool though. Why is he befriending me? And some of you are thinking this is going to get really dark really fast, and it doesn't. Well, I mean, for some of you it might, because if you're like anti-religion, you'd be like, oh man, that's the worst thing you could have done. But he invited me to this meeting. And the funny thing is that this story could get really dark, but he invited me to this meeting at a barn in the woods behind a church. Okay. So like there's this road that goes like, this dirt road that goes back to this barn. And we would park at the church parking lot and walk this dirt road and go to this barn that they had totally turned into like a youth center. So it was like a Youth for Christ kind of thing. It's actually technically Campus Crusade for Christ. And I get to there and I'm like, I don't want to go hang out with a bunch of Jesus freaks. I mean, this is like, I'm 13 years old. This is 1974. I'm like, but I'm desperately want to be popular. And this, one of the more popular kids in the school is like asking me to this. And I'm like, okay, I'll go, and I go to this thing and I walk in the door and they're singing songs, of course. And I won't sing the song because I don't want to get a copyright infringement, but it's probably something like Kumbaya or It Only Takes a Spark. If you're old school church, you would know these songs, crazy songs, Michael, row your boat ashore, probably not that one, but he has the whole world in his hands, that kind of stuff. They would even do some Dylan. They would even do some Beatles songs. I still have that little brown book. I don't know if you have the Young Life brown book, if you've ever seen that one, but it's got all these songs in it with just lyrics and chords on it. Totally not. Well, they had copyright information in it, so they must have gotten permission. So I go sit in the back of this barn, the second floor of this barn that they turned into like a room with a stage and lights and everything. It was really cool. Ultimately, that barn became a place where my high school band practiced. Somehow we got the permission to practice in there. And we even got stranded in there with the blizzard hit. We got stuck in there, and that's a different story. I'll tell that one another time. So here I am, 13 years old, sitting in the back of this religious meeting and rolling my eyes and thinking, oh, I don't want to hang out with these people. And and I was a confirmed atheist. I was like, I don't believe in God, and I all this stuff. But there was this guy up front playing songs. He was like fresh out of college, probably 22, 23 years old. He's up there playing the songs, right? They're doing the old school Christian songs. And he's got a real Gibson 175, like a real one. I got a copy. I have an Ibanez copy that I got for my 13th birthday. And just a couple months later, I'm sitting in a room with a real one. And I'm looking at that thing and I'm going, oh my gosh, that's a really cool guitar. So like that's all I'm looking at the whole hour and a half meeting. They're talking about stuff. They had some guy get up and do like a karate demonstration and talk about how Jesus got him off drugs. And I'm like, cool, whatever, and so let's see, what did David say? I missed that. Anyway, so afterwards I went up to this guy, his name was Paul, and I said, hey, can I play your guitar? And he's kind of like, he looks at me and I'm pimple faced little kid. And he's like, maybe. Okay. God bless him. He had faith. So he hands me the guitar. And the first thing I play on that guitar was Wes Montgomery's Tear It Down. I'm going to take a risk right now and play it. But what did I just do? I can't remember. I did it. I can't remember it. It's a. But basically, I played something like that. Okay. And I mean, that was basically, I probably played it better when I was 13 because I was like totally devouring anything Wes Montgomery. And immediately Paul was like, okay, well, this kid plays better than me. So I guess the guitar is okay in his hands. And Paul and I became friends. And Paul was the one that led me to the Lord. He ended up sharing his faith with me. And I ended up accepting Jesus in that the following weeks and months. And his jaw totally dropped. And so I ended up, going through high school, got through high school without any major crashes and burns, and went to Butler, got in bands, playing in bands, teaching lessons, moved to California, staying in touch with Paul the whole time, said, Paul, if you ever want to sell that guitar, and his dad had bought the 175 for his mom. So this was in the family. I said, if you ever want to sell it, I'll buy it from you. Whatever price you name, I'll buy it from you. And about 7-8 years ago, he's still on staff with Campus Crusade for Christ. And they don't make a lot of money. I mean, when you're a missionary, you're living pretty tight. And they live in South Carolina. And he works mostly with college professors now, all over the country, all over the world. They're not, but they generally fly all over the world doing conferences and things like that for college professors. And he said they needed to recarpet their house. And would I be interested in buying the Gibson? And I said, yes. And so this is the guitar that I say led me to Jesus. This guitar is the exact guitar. Everything's the same as it was the day he was playing it. It's in great shape. And I've had it for, this is my most prized possession. Let me put it that way. This is one of those things you insure, but it's irrelevant because if it were stolen or destroyed, you can't replace it. And so I've had this guitar now for probably about 10 years. And I gave him enough money to recarpet his entire house. And in South Carolina, those are probably pretty big houses because they're a lot cheaper there than here in California. And so that was that's the story of this guitar. And, I haven't used it that much. I've used it for some gigs, things like that. I usually keep it in my closet in the case just because I want to keep it humidified, and I want to keep, in California, we get these things called earthquakes, and everything's really solid up there. But, if that whole wall were to come down, it would be a tragedy. So I do try to keep this. And when a guitar is out of sight, out of mind, if you've watched my famous video of almost 2 million views, the 7 tips for older beginners, you'll know that anytime something's out of sight, you're less likely to play it. That's one of my tips is to try to get people to get their guitar, at least one guitar out, so that you're going to pick it up more often. That's a really good tip. So yeah, there's no humidity in California, so I usually have a little thing that's clay, and you put water on it, it absorbs, and then I try to remember to redo that once a week or so. So probably don't do it, but I would use flat wounds. Right now these are 10s. They're just my regular elixirs. I don't have a set of flat wounds right now, so I didn't put them on. Yeah, it's a great guitar. Although, the 2 pickup one's probably a little more versatile. So it's very simple. 1 pickup, volume and tone. The neck plays great though. It's a really narrow neck. It feels great. It's got he had put new tuners on it, and it's missing the pick guard. So he didn't have the pick guard. And this is not the original bridge. This is the bridge he's had since I've known it, I think since 74, but somebody before that replaced this bridge, which is a shame because I've hunted for this bridge and they're like $500. I'm trying to find the pick guard and it's like $1,000 to find, if I find this pick. So I'm like, to find a 60s pick guard for this is very, very expensive. So yeah, David. So you're not afraid. You're surrounded by religion, David. So you're not afraid of a religious story. No, there is no pickup under the bridge. No. Although I did play a Yamaha guitar. That Yamaha was making like 175 knockups recently that had 2 pickups and a pickup under the bridge and a blender. And I'll tell you, I really, really liked the sound of this, the neck pickup with the bridge kind of combined, like blended. It really sounded like the sound that I would love to be able to get is that Joe Pass sound. Oh my gosh. Joe Pass from, let's see, what's the, I didn't post any links to any of my pages. Joe Pass, let's see. Oh wait, no, I need YouTube. I'll put a link here. You guys can listen to it later. Joe Pass is one of my favorite guitar players growing up, and he was one of those guys that could play, would just play by himself. Yeah, the album is called Virtuoso. Let's see. Let me get a song off of that though. What's a song from that? Oh, Night and Day. Yeah, that's a great one. And there's people that have transcribed. Oh, here's one with transcriptions. So, nope, got to mute. But I'm going to share this right now, and you guys can put it in your watch later list. It's great stuff. Joe Pass was great. And there was, like I said, there was a period of time when I was a kid, when I was 13, 14, where I just couldn't get a band together. And so I decided I was going to start doing, chord melodies. So I would learn about stuff like this. And that's what Joe Pass would do. He would do something like, and then I'd have to chart out for me. But he would play like a piece of the melody and then noodle, and then play a piece of the melody and then noodle, and just so good. Joe Pass was great. Wes Montgomery Moore he didn't do a lot of solo stuff. He mostly played with a group. It's a great player. And Wes Montgomery was from Indianapolis. So there was that kind of, I remember seeing his guitar. I think his guitar is still at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis. He had I think his main guitar was a Gibson L5. Yeah, it's very mellow tone. And I've got kind of a mellow tone dialed up. You can put up a heavy metal tone. Also, the chord theory you're learning will also help you with soloing, because you'll start to see, here's a triad, and here's the 6th, 7th, 9th. So you'll some of that stuff will start to unfold as you understand stuff better. But hopefully this was a good lesson for you, the triad theory. Today was triad theory, but we're going to continue in chord theory. Quick newbie question. What picks do you choose? Should I choose what picks do I choose for my Ibanez, and why would I need more than one pick? Mainly because you're going to lose it. But I use these gravity picks a lot. I've gotten kind of into these, and they're not cheap. They're like $5 a pop, which is a lot for a guitar pick. For years and years, I used these, the Dunlop Derlin, and you can see a link on I'll post a link on this video so you can see all the things I use. But I actually have, this is just a small percentage of all the picks that I have, and trust me, I use many of them, a lot of them. This is a mandolin pick. I've got another mandolin pick here. Here's a felt pick. I love playing bass with felt pick. This is really kind of ukulele players use felt picks. I'll do a video on picks. We'll talk about that. I've already done a couple about it. This is a stupid $35 blue chip pick. And my kids gave it to me for my birthday. And I was kind of like, and I knew about them. And then I'll tell you, I thought, well, there's no way a pick can make that much difference. But when I'm banging out on my Martin, I'm doing like strumming. In fact, the video I need to post, but I can't because it's not been approved. I have a copyright infringement, so I'm contesting it. It was just the jam track where I'm just playing D chord, G chord, or whatever. Now watch me get a copyright infringement on that. Isn't that crazy? If I just do, someone can copyright that, or copyright claim, I should say. But I actually used on both guitars. I used this pick for strumming. I actually really like that pick, but boy, I won't take it anywhere because I know I'll lose it. I love Wiegand picks. These are not cheap either. I think these are, maybe $15 for two. This is my Gypsy Jazz pick, but I also love it for playing solo acoustic guitar. Like if I'm going to do some kind of licks on acoustic guitar, I really love this. I really feel like this place right here where the contact, where your finger hits the string or where the pick hits the string, is really that, it's kind of your voice in a lot of ways. And so I've got this pick. I did a video on this, and this is a West German pick. This is what the Edge uses. And when he plays, he doesn't play with the tip of the pick. He scrapes the string. Because I was trying to figure out how he's getting that sound. And I thought it was distortion or something, like some kind of pedal, and it wasn't. It was literally him scraping the side of the pick. So I started doing it with this. And I like to play blues with that. No, I need more picks because I like the different sounds that each one of them gives. But I like playing solos with a scrapey pick. It doesn't have to be this one. It could be other picks that have texture on it. Here is a Wiegand pick. They're made in France, I think. This is the bluegrass pick, handmade. This thing will probably last forever. It's very well made. Different thumb picks, finger picks. I've even used a bottle. I have bottle cap. I did a video about bottle cap banjo. And I work for Austin Wintry. Oh gosh, check this out. This is crazy. Somebody asked me if I played on this, and I was like, I don't know. And then I listened to it and I went, oh yeah, shoot, that was me. And it was. Let's see. Let's see if I can find that. And I listened to it and I went, oh gosh, I remember doing that session. It was so hard. And the playing on it was crazy. So I have it. I'll put a link. I'll give you a link to that, and you guys can watch it later if you want. I think I have it in this folder here. Yeah, here it is. Austin Wintry is the composer. He's a great composer, really talented composer. I just found out that one of the composers I worked for Arvo Part, who's one of my favorite composers. And I was like, dude, you are a freaking rock star. Yeah, prime cone picks. Do I have it? Yes, I got those. So I'm checking those out. I like a bigger pick. Those are a little on the small side. They make bigger ones. Part of the reason I jumped up to the gravity pick is because it's bigger than what I had been using, and so I think I'm getting old. And you know how they make kitchen utensils for people with arthritis? They make them. The handles are all big and everything, so they're easier to grab. I don't have arthritis, thank God, but I think this is a better pick for me because it's just a little bit more for me to hold on to. So I'm not quite over 60 yet, no, so I'm not there. As far as Dennis, what's the best right pick for metal? You'd be shocked. I mean, you would think a heavy pick. Some metal players use heavy. I would just try to investigate that and see. I'm sure when they talk about there is who is it that one of the guitar magazines does rig rundown. Google. So here's what you do. Not Google. You could just go to YouTube. Rig rundown, and then enter your favorite metal guitar players or favorite metal bands. They may not all be up there, but they've probably interviewed some of them. And sometimes they talk about the picks, but you can find out what kind of guitar they use, what kind of cables they use, what pedals, what amps, all that stuff. There's some really, really good, like they did Brian May from Queen. That was a really good one. I mean, I've watched dozens of these. They're really, really fun. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's my father-in-law went to I think they went to their 40th reunion or something like that. And he goes, he said to my mother-in-law, he goes, "Baby, we're in the wrong room. These are just nothing but old people." So yeah, I'm not quite there yet. They just had what would that be? My 40th. So I missed the 40th. I couldn't fly back to Indiana because I was working. So I just couldn't get back that week. Pepe. Oh, you're not a professional. Well, yeah, playing because it makes you happy is the main I mean, I'm still happy when I'm playing. I'm very fortunate to make a living at it. That's pretty rare, and I know that. And so I don't ever take it for granted. And so, yep, Roger, thank you. Wow, you've been here the whole time. Yeah, but you know me and cheap acoustics. I'm sorry, cheap electrics. I mean the song that I did on the new Bieber record that I wrote for that's my $99 Squire, my black Squire, which is right behind me there. It's right next to the bass, right next to the 5-string bass. Yeah, and then I have 10 of those because I do all sorts of weird stringings with them or weird tunings or things like that. So we've talked about that before. Yeah, Brian May uses a sixpence. Oh, and I have one of those too. When we were in London in 2014, we were staying in Notting Hill, and of course in Notting Hill they have, and I have this is even a pick that made out of a quarter, metal pick that's made out of quarter, but somewhere I have a sixpence. It may be in my pick drawer. This is also, this thing's all rusty now. Because the rain got to it. I'm trying to find more of these. I cannot. Now and I hope it's not ruined. Let me see if I can separate these. Yeah, I can separate them. It's just so this thing's called a jellyfish pick. So basically what they did was they took guitar strings. It looks like a D string, and they just cut them in an angle and then put them inside plastic. And this thing, it doesn't really work on it, but it has a brushy kind of quality. I really, really like it. I've tried to find more of these, and they discontinued them. They made them for like a couple of years, and I only bought the one, and then wish I bought more. But I still have this one. I've even tried to make my own, and I just can't get it right. But these things are really cool. Do I have a special travel guitar? No, mainly I take my Strat, my Fender. I take my Fender Strat when I'm traveling. When I have fly dates, because my Strat is just my most versatile guitar, I think. I used to take when I was teaching clinics, the 335. The GNL that I've been playing the last few days. I bought that to teach the clinic, so I took that and it's so funny, they're right next to each other. I bought those the same year. Actually, Taylor gave me that 814. I know that pisses you off, but I was teaching clinics for him, so they gave me that. I took that on the road. I would get on a plane with two guitars. One in a gig bag on my back and the other one a guitar case. And I did probably 50 flights a year for 2 years. I mean, I'm talking about 50 flights, like flying LA to Chicago, Chicago to Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh to Chicago. But basically got on and off 50 planes for 3 years in a row. And only once did I have to check the guitar. And even then, they ended up finding a space for it, and they didn't tell me until I was getting off the plane and said, "Oh, by the way, we never put it underneath the plane. We put it up here." So, yeah, since 9/11. This was back before 9/11, but I did the clinics from 97 to 99, and they would have an amp for me, and they would have pedals and stuff for me, so I didn't have to bring any of that stuff. But I did have to bring, I wanted to bring guitars. There was no way to do it because I had to teach an electric class and an acoustic class, and then we did a band class. So that was kind of what I was doing. So I have some tricks. I used to have a blog. I had a blog post on this. See if I can find it because it would be kind of a good one to repost. I don't think I've reposted the tricks. And again, I think I wrote this blog back when it was like AOL.hometown.com, back then. So probably pre 9/11. But there were some things that I would do. One thing I would do is I would buy a box of chocolates at every airport and give them to the flight attendants as I got on the plane. If I had to go to the counter at the gate, I would leave my guitar with one of my guitars with one of my bandmates and just walk to the counter without guitars. Because one time I walked to the counter and they said, "Oh, you're going to need to gate check those," or gate check that. And I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay, oh, bummer." And the gate check means when you get to the bottom of the skyway, just before you get on the plane, you put it there, and then they put it underneath, and then they take it out and put it there when you get off the plane. So it's probably fine, but things can happen. You never know. Luggage can shift or whatever. And so I what I did was this. So they put these bright orange tags on the guitar handles, and what I did was I rolled the orange thing up in my hand and just kind of held up my hand, and you could barely see it. And I walked on the plane. So they never said anything. So that was a little bit of a cheater. I only had to do that once, but let's see, Lance. That's funny, Lance. That I wouldn't be surprised. I actually, that Taylor, the one time I had to check, well, there was a different time. It was later. I was flying with it and I had to check it and I was kind of bummed. When I got back to LA, it was the homebound trip. They had it set aside in a special area, which is nice. I opened it and the G string was broken and there was a dime inside. So all I can think of is that they were strumming the guitar with a dime and they broke the string, which is of course going to happen. Or they were playing and they broke a string and they go, "Oh, I'll give them a dime because that's what a string costs." And of course, that's not what a string costs. But anyway, bye, Kevin. Thanks. Oh, you were in here the whole time too. I spent almost 2 hours. That's crazy. Yeah, Armor K, exactly. I don't have any like super high quality guitar. And the other trick you can do is even with acoustic, you're running a risk. But if you walk on with it, a soft bag, if you have a soft bag for the guitar, they're much less likely to want to put it underneath because it's not at all protected. But the problem with that is if it's a nice guitar, you're running the risk if they're like, they don't care, they just want to throw it underneath. And sometimes you get on a little teeny puddle jumper, there is no room. One thing, okay, so there's a couple things you can do. When I'm flying for business, I tend to make them fly me first class. So then they let you put the guitar in the closet and they're never an issue. With an electric guitar in a gig bag, there's usually room for it. The other thing is if you can get early boarding, I tend to fly United, and because I'm a United Plus member, I have the credit card. I have a couple credit cards and everything. I can get in the the first two groups. So that's another trick. I should do a video on this. I will do a video on this. It would be a great video. Some of this stuff may be passe, but I will try to, I'll tell some stories and everything like that. The only problem is I don't want United to see me coming or whatever. But now generally when I fly, like the other day I flew Coach to Sacramento and did a show with Kelly at a hospital. In fact, we played songs for kids in the children's hospital, which was amazing. I brought the Taylor because that's a pretty replaceable guitar if something were to happen to it. And Southwest did not have a problem. I made sure that I had early boarding going there, and then I forgot to check in coming home. So I went ahead and paid the extra $40 to get early boarding so that you can get on early. That's one of the keys. If you can get on early, you can get overhead space. And then you just keep an eye on the space. And if somebody wants to put something up there, you just say, "Hey, let me help you with that." And then you make sure that they don't crush your guitar. But people see guitar, they're generally really, really pretty cool. So that's I have seen those collapsible guitars. That's just not something I can use. If I were a professional banker or traveling for business, something like that, and I wanted to have, I have friends that have those that are businessmen and they travel and they want to have a guitar with them. To me, that makes sense. I get that. But generally those guitars don't have the best tone or the best playability, but I have seen those. Kathy, are you okay? What happened? Yeah, travel size guitars are great for traveling, but they're not great for tone and playing live. Like the Baby Taylor, if I were to play at a hospital with that, might be a little on the quiet side. With that, with that guitar, with the Taylor. When I went at the hospital, we went to this one kid's room, and poor kid. I mean, gosh, he had Down syndrome and he had cancer. It's like, oh my gosh. So the kid was in the hospital for cancer, and his parents, of course, the way they have it set up is the parents can stay there, which is great. But the kid was kind of in really, really grumpy mood, and he didn't want to do anything. And I came in, I started playing blues, and the kid lit up. So I'm like, okay. So they were trying to get him to walk down the hallway and back. And I just grabbed a pen from the like a Sharpie from the nurse station and played slide blues on my walking up and down the hallway with him. And there were people filming. It was like the kid was dancing down the hallway. All his grumpiness went completely away. It was awesome. So it just was amazing. So I would love to do that again. I'm sure the Kelly, the girl Kelly Jekyll that I write songs with and we do some shows, we may do another show, a stage it show. We're not sure when we're going to do that, but we're going to try to do another show, and I'll let you know when that's going to happen. And we make the ticket prices $0. You can pay what you want. We did a half-hour show last time and made $500 because people paid, some people paid $20 for a ticket. Some people, tipped $20 once we started playing. It was pretty cool. It was actually really cool. It's called stageit.com. So if you're struggling as a musician, as all musicians are right now, stageit.com, check it out. If you've got a band that you can get together and do or if you're a solo artist and you can sit on a sofa and do a show, it's a great way. They do take a big chunk of the money. At the more money you make, the less they take. It's a digressive, I guess you could say, fee, or a progressive fee, but progressive would be the opposite. It would actually get higher. Lance has a video. I'll have to please do a video on learning the fretboard. Okay. Yeah, I do have a video on it. You want me to try to find that? Let me see. I think that is in my playlist, Cool Skills, maybe. I mean, that's a great one for me to, and I've probably done that video twice. I probably have one that's very old and one that's new. Let me see where that is. For your rock guitar players, here's one that no one's going to. No one is going to. Oh, I got 51. Oh, it's 18. That's pretty cool. No, it's not. I've got 1,800 views of this one. This is different view. This is a different one. But this was a guy in Indianapolis who was a rock star in Indianapolis, Rick Benning. Oh, whoops. And I'm going to try to find this other one. Dang it. Where did I put that one? Oh, no, your fretboard. Here, yeah. Here's one here. Ooh, here's another great. I've got so many great videos. I'm so awesome. So here's the Know Your Fretboard one. Okay. So quick, these will, yeah. So save these, open these up. So that one is, the first one I posted is my friend Rick Bannock, who passed away last year, maybe 2 years ago now, of leukemia, I think. And he was one of the most influential guys I ever had in my life, guitar player wise. And when I was just in high school, we had a mutual friend, and I may share the story in there, but he was like 10 years older than me, but he was like a rock star. Everyone was like, I got to hang out with this guy that was a rock star. And they had they had several records out on Mercury Records. They didn't do very well. They had one song, I think, that got to, called Circle of Love. They got to 40 on the charts. They were kind of like REO Speedwagon, Styx, that kind of era kind of stuff. Roadmaster was the name of the band. So if you're older and from the Midwest, you might know Roadmaster because they toured all over. That second video is the Know Your Fretboard video. Okay. And then this video is a great, because I'm so great. This video is awesome. This one is called Sing a String. And this one is great if you don't know how to come up with harmonies. Mr. Pesky, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did. And Kathy, thank you for saying bye to everybody. Oh, yeah. Abhishek, take care. Good to see you again. Oh, here's a screenshot for what we did today. I have to back it up. We wrote out 2-octave C scale. We wrote the numbers 1 through 15 above them. We learned what a major third and a minor third were. And then what we started to do was we created triads, starting on C and then doing the D triad and the E triad. And we analyzed them and determined that they were major and minor and one diminished. Okay. And that's how these are things. Oh, you know what I didn't teach you? Now, everybody that's signed out is going to be like, wait a minute. Yeah, right. If you have major, which did not occur, right? We didn't have it, but remember I talked about the binary thing. If this is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, now we have 1, 1. That's an augmented chord. Augmented triad. Okay. And the cool thing about an augmented chord is it repeats itself every 4 frets. So if you were to make an augmented chord, take the we just watched while you were Sleepless in Seattle, and that reminds me of Sleepless in Seattle. But that video that I just posted, the last one, is called Sing a String. So if you're trying to figure out like a harmony or something, there are, I can do a video. We can talk about this too, but somebody remind me and I'll do a video on this. But yeah, it kind of sounds like that would be minor. If we did a minor augmented, that would be, so here's a major, E major, E augmented, E6, E augmented, E major. E minor would be the James Bond. E minor sharp 5, E minor 6. Okay, Kathy, you are spending 2 hours with me. I appreciate it. Don't feel obligated to stay on the whole time just because I made you administrator. I can add somebody else as administrator too, so there's two of you doing it. Because I don't want you to feel obligated to sit here for 2 hours. I mean, some of you are like, what else am I going to do? I totally understand that. And again, I do these videos not for you. I'm doing them for me because this gives me something I look forward to this immensely every day. This is the kind of person I am. I love interacting, and quarantine is like the worst thing that can be done to me. So a prison sentence would be the worst sentence for me. Well, for anybody, I guess. Yeah, some people might enjoy it. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything, right? And you can see I'm wearing pants today. So that's another game that we play. We have a game we play every day. We just added to it today, but the game is if I touch my face, everybody has to take a drink. So it's a drinky game. But I've decided to add, if I refer to myself in the third person, we also all have to take a drink. Now, today I'm drinking water. Usually it's coffee or Diet Coke or orange juice, but I was too lazy to go get a glass of orange juice. And so I've been doing water, which I hate. You know, I hate water. Some of you are multitasking too. Some of you are cooking dinner while we're watching or other things. So I totally understand that. I actually had someone that was in their gardening with their phone watching. So I totally get that. But the sing a string thing is cool. So I was going to say there's three types of vocal harmony. So say you have a melody. Let's just make the melody do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, whatever. So we get, right? That's the melody. And that's what the singer's singing. Dun, 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 dun. Well, you could do a parallel harmony, okay, where you just go up a third. We've been learned about thirds today. So if you start on E, in fact, we'll do a lesson on that. That could totally go along with the chord theory and with modes. But basically, if I were to harmonize a third up and stay in the key, so one singer would go da 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 da, the other one would go da 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 da, and I could do perfect thirds. I mean, major thirds all the way, but it would sound out of key. Like, check it out. I'm just gonna bar my finger. That's a major third. That's the 5th fret and 5th fret on the 2nd and 3rd string. See, that's not right. You have to make some of them minor thirds and some major thirds. If follows right along with the chords. Major, minor, minor, major, major. There's your 4 and 5 right there. Okay, that's called a parallel harmony. So if you're singing with someone, you can sing a parallel harmony. The other thing you could do is a contrary harmony. So you could do something where maybe you might go like that. Well, let's see. Maybe something where you're going down and then up or something. So it'd be like, right? So you would have contrary movement. So the melody's going like this and the harmony's going like this. And then maybe it's coming back up at the end or something, but that would be contrary movement. So you have parallel movement where they're both going like up and down or whatever, the same. Then contrary movement like this. And then there's static movement. And static movement is one of my favorites. I think the Beatles did it. I love Fleetwood Mac. One of the coolest things that makes Fleetwood Mac so cool is that they have that Lindsay sings oftentimes above Stevie Nicks. So you got the guy singing. He's got such a high voice. He's singing way above Stevie. Yeah, that's fine. And Kathy, you're doing a great job. But Stevie would be below it. It's such a cool sound to have that guy singing above the girl. And so that's kind of part of Fleetwood Mac's sound. I really dig that. So that's and oftentimes so static harmony. I call it. Yeah, I did touch my face. Everybody take a sip. All right. But like static would be what's that? That Beatles song. Right? So kind of a descending E major scale. But the top, the melody, the harmony is just, it stays on the same note. So the melody is moving, but the harmony is staying static. Really, really, really cool. I love that kind of harmony. I also think Not Your Stepping Stone by the Monkees. The melody is, okay, it's the opposite. The melody is I'm not your stepping stone. And I could be wrong here, but I think there's a harmony that goes I'm not your stepping stone. Maybe that's just how my band did it. So the melody is I'm not your stepping stone. And the harmony is I'm not your stepping stone. So you end up with this kind of vibe. It's really cool. So those are the, in my observation, 3 ways to do a harmony vocally. And so my video on Sing a String is kind of like, just if you're trying to harmonize with someone, just pick a string, and when you're playing the song, whatever note is that on that string, I just put my guitar down, didn't I? So if the song's in G, the harmony, you just play the G string, sing the G string, da, 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 go to C, still a G note, da, 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 go to D. Oh, it's an A note now. Da, da, back to C. Da, 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 da. It's kind of like what singers do when they're singing backgrounds. See, you know, on background vocals, it can be a harmony. You can be singing the same words and same thing, or you could just have people going ooh, right? Like Elvis Presley. What was Elvis Presley's background singers called? I forget their names. Bye, Chris. Everybody's logging out now. Yeah, right. I'm singing. It's time to check out. Oh my gosh. It's so true. But you know, that's kind of like doing an ooh harmony, but you can stay with the vocal. So if you watch that video, I think I give a fairly good example of that, but that's the Sing a String. So you can create a harmony just by picking out one string and sticking with it. Whatever note's on that string, you sing that note and you're good. It should work over that song. Okay, we've gone over 2 hours. It's going to be I'm going to be exhausted the rest of my day. You got so much mac and cheese. I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch. I'm thinking of ordering ramen from around the corner and picking it up. I don't have my mask yet. We ordered masks, so I don't want to really go out and to do businesses. They haven't given the order to wear masks yet in California in public, but everybody kind of looks at you funny when you don't. And I ordered some, but they haven't arrived yet. But we ordered them on Etsy. If you're looking for a place to get masks, they're not medical grade. They're just the cloth ones. But the one I ordered from Etsy, and I think they were like $6 or $7 each. I got 2 of them, one for me and one for Beth. They have a pocket in them, so you could put some kind of filter in there if you wanted to. I understand people are using is it HEPA filters from vacuum bags, vacuum HEPAs and things like that. Yep. Yeah, oud is crazy. I've got a video on oud. I've got the oud out every now and then. You can look around and see it. I'm going to try to go back and do some tagging on the previous videos so they're easier to find. But I did put, if you didn't notice, on the previous videos, this daily lesson thing, I put in the title in caps what the main big picture lesson was. So the first 12 it'll say caged method in caps in the title. So that'll help you kind of find them. I'm not getting into detail on those. It's not, this one we're learning the shape, the C shape or whatever. None of that. It's just 12 of them. And then the last 5 we did were on modes. So I just wrote modes in caps. So that way you can easily find them if you want to go back. Today's going to be, it says chord theory. And so we are going to continue talking about chord theory. And we are going to, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there where we're talking about flat 5s and sharp 9s and all that stuff. We're actually going to get there. And you're going to understand it, which is crazy. Now, will you remember that's different? Understanding it when I explain it to you and having that light bulb go off is one thing. It's kind of like learning French in high school and then forgetting it after you leave because you didn't go to France and you didn't go to Canada and you didn't talk to anybody in French. So that's the downside of this. I can show you stuff that you may not use, and that's where I'm going to try to make sure that we're going to, like we did with the modes, we're going to try to apply it to the guitar so there can be another layer of knowledge. And the more layers of knowledge you have, the deeper understanding you have on it, and the more likely you are to retain it. The other thing I would recommend is teach it. Teaching something, even if it's something you just learned, will help you understand something a lot deeper. I mean, I understand this stuff pretty deeply because I taught it so often. But when I first started teaching, it is a church day, but I'm not playing in the video for my church today. My son has been subbing for me because he needs the money more than I do because he lost all his work as a musician, like all the gigs. He lost all those. So I'm letting him cover for me at church. So he's been, they're going to reuse some of the videos, but he did the last, I think he did Easter and then the last 3 weeks. So he did most of March and April. They already filmed April. So yeah, writing it down is great. And the other thing is, I'm real tempted to make tomorrow's lesson. We do this all over again, but in the key of G. I don't know. You guys decide. Let me know if you want to do that. Otherwise, we're going to start talking about 7th chords. We're going to add one more minor third, or not minor third, but third to these stacks here. And then we'll get, I have another lesson I could do. I used to do this lesson too. I just remembered, but I don't want, I don't think I'm going to, it's tough because in this lesson, you would have double sharps and double flats. And I just don't think it shows up very often. That's probably why I stopped teaching it. So, okay. So, yeah, you got pizza. That sounds good. We may have pizza tonight. That may be what we do. Anyway, okay. I'm going to sign off. Again, as always, I'll try to leave the live chat up for a while, and you guys can all say goodbye. You already have been, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. It makes me feel necessary. And right now, because everybody that's not working has been told that their job isn't necessary. It's like, really? So, but I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Rick, did you just log? No, you've been here. Yeah, and like I said, you can rewrite this down in other keys. So you could do that, and that would give you a big, deeper big, much deeper understanding. And the thing is, if you did that, I said this before, this would be the same. None of that's going to change. This is going to be the same, and this is going to be the same. So if you change the scale up here, this will be different. And then, of course, the chord down there is going to be different. But basically, everything else will be the same. So it's not like you have to write a whole lot. Anyway, okay. Too bad I missed the first 15. They're there. They're still up. They're up. They'll be up forever. I'm not going to take them down unless YouTube takes down my channel for claiming that I wrote songs that I actually wrote. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye, Keith. Bye, Dennis. TA, good to see you again. Later. Lance, Kathy, thank you so much for doing that. Verdi, awesome to see you today. Pepper, Gary, Paul Becker. Hey, you just logged in, or you've been there the whole time maybe and not talking much. That's all right. You don't have to. And Beppe, great to see you as always. Take care of yourself in Italy. So important. Zach, good to see you. Oh yeah, isn't that cool? One of those things are awesome, Zach. I'll talk to you later, I'm sure. God bless you all. Thanks so much for watching. And this is number 18. So number 19 tomorrow, Lord willing. Okay. Bye-bye.